Hello everyone, this is D. Chinnagokari. Welcome to my chemistry channel. So here I am going to explain about discovery of protons. In the last lecture I have explained about discovery of protons and cathode, properties of cathode rays and discovery of means discovery of charge of electron, calculation of charge of electron and specific charge of cathode rays, and also mass of that electron. Everything I explained. And now in this lecture I am going to explain about discovery of protons. So the protons are discovered by Goldstein by using the modified discharge rate tube. We already know discharge rate tube is made up of a glass tube which contain one opening. This is connected to vacuum pump. So this is used to adjust the pressure. This is connected to vacuum pump. So this is used to adjust the pressure inside the discharge tube, and it is connected to very high voltage condition. We already know at normal conditions gases are act as insulators. They are not going to conduct any electricity, but we can achieve some conditions such as very low pressure condition and high voltage difference. In such conditions gases are going to conduct the electricity. When we do this experiment, so when we do this experiment, when we do this experiment, we already know some rays are released from the cathode and they are travels towards the anode. This is everything I discussed in the discovery of electrons. But in this experiment, he used some modification in this discharge tube. What is that modifications here? He took perforated cathode, whereas in discovery of electrons, there Thomson took direct. There is no holes in the cathode, but here in Goldstein took some perforated cathode. And when he performed this the same experiment, he observed some unknown particles, some unknown rays behind this cathode, and these rays are known as anode rays or canal rays. So the presence of these anode rays or canal rays can identify by using a zinc sulfide screen, ZNS. So these are called what? Anode rays or canal rays. Why they are called canal rays means they are passing through the canals of the cathode. That's why they are called canal rays. And one more difference is there here between cathode rays and anode rays, that is, here cathode rays are generating from the cathode and they are traveling towards the anode. But here the anode rays or canal rays are not generating from the anode, but they are generating inside of this discharge tube due to the ionization of gas by these cathode rays. These cathode rays remove the electrons from these gas molecules, hence they produce positive charges. These positive charges are attracted by this cathode and they travels towards the cathode and they spins behind the cathode because of these holes. Right? Now let us discuss the properties of cathode rays. Properties of, sorry, not cathode rays, these are anode rays. Properties of anode. Properties of anode rays or canal rays. So the first property, so they travel in straight line. They move in the straight line. They move straight line without any deflection. They move or travel in straight line. They move in a straight line. How we can say they are moving in a straight line? Because when you keep a metal plate, thick metal plate in the path of these anode rays or canal rays, they are going to produce the image. They are going to produce the image of this metal plate on the zinc sulfide screen. They are going to produce the image of this metal object on this zinc sulfide screen. So we can say that they travel in a straight line, and also they have heating effect. They have heating effect. They have heating effect. They can heat the thick metal objects what we are going to keep here. Next, they can pass through the thin metal foil. When you keep a instead of thick metal foil, when you keep a thin metal foil which is having very less thickness, so they can pass through the thin metal foil. They can pass through thin metal foil. They can pass through the thin metal foil. And next they can rotate the light paddle wheel. So we already know light paddle wheel also rotated by the cathode rays, but here anode rays also or canal rays also can rotate this light paddle wheel. Why? Because these anode rays contain some material particles. These material particles are going to hit this light paddle wheel. Hence the light paddle wheel starts rotating. So we can say these anode rays are also having some material particles. Anode rays contain material particles. Anode rays contain material particles. How we can say they are contain material particles? Because they rotate light paddle wheel. They rotate light paddle wheel which we place in the path of this anode rays. And in the presence of external electric field, anode rays are deflected towards the negative direction, negative pole. They are deflected towards the negative pole in the presence of external electric field. Hence it proves that these anode rays or canal rays are having positive charge. Why? Because we already know opposite charges are attract. So it is positive and these are attracting by the, this is negative. These are attracting by the negative charge. These positive charges are attracting by the negative charge. Hence we can say that these anode rays are having positively charged particles. So how we can say that they are positively charged particles? They deflect towards negative plate in external electric field. Hence we can say that they are negatively charged. They have positive charge. They have what? Positive charge. Why? Because they are deflecting towards the negative plate. So they have what? Positively charged, or they are positively charged particles. And when you keep an external magnetic field, they deflect towards the north pole. Since it is also proves that they are having what? Negative charge. So this is about hence this anode rays are nothing but what? Protons. For this anode rays, scientist Rutherford gave one name, that is proton. So here protons. So what is happening here? So these protons are discovered by whom? Goldstein, by using modified discharge ray tube. So what is the modification he did here? He took perforated cathode. Perforated cathode means having some holes in the cathode. That is called what? Perforated cathode. So when he performed this experiment, what happens? He observed some streaming of some unknown particles behind the cathode. These rays are called what? Anode rays or canal rays. So these, why they are called canal rays? Because they are passing through the canals of through the holes of the cathode. That's why they are called canal rays, right? And these canal rays or anode rays are not generating from the anode, but they are producing inside due to ionization of gas molecules by the cathode rays. So they are producing inside the discharge ray tube due to ionization of the gas molecules inside the discharge ray tube, and they are attracted by towards the cathode. They are moving towards the cathode. So then coming to the properties of cathode rays. So cathode rays are moves or travels in a straight line. How we can say they produces the images, they cast the images. They have heating effect, means you can observe the thick metal plate temperature. They can pass through the thin metal foil. Instead of thick metal foil, if you give thin metal foil, they can pass through them. And the anode rays contain material particles. How we can say they are contain material particles? Because they rotate the light paddle wheel, and next to they deflect towards the negative plate in external electric field, so that we can conclude that anode rays are nothing but positively charged particles. This thing again we can confirm by using external magnetic field. So when you give an external magnetic field, these anode rays are attracted towards the north pole, which means they are nothing but positively charged particles, right? Next, let us discuss about charge of proton. 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 Charge of proton is equal to, that is plus 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. This is plus is because it is having positive charge, that's why we are writing here plus sign. Or plus 4.8 into 10 to the power of minus 10 ESU, that is electrostatic unit. ESU means here electrostatic unit. And next, specific charge. Specific charge. Specific charge. Specific charge is nothing but a charge to mass ratio. Here charge of proton, m is the mass of proton, E is the charge of proton, m is the mass of proton. Here we already know that E by m ratio of electrons is constant. E by m ratio of electrons is always constant, means for cathode rays E by m ratio does not going to change. Whatever the gas you are going to take in the inside the discharge reactive. Inside the discharge reactive, whatever the gas you take for cathode rays, I am saying cathode rays, it is not going to change. But for anode rays, E by m ratio depends on the nature of gas. The E by m ratio, it is depends on nature of gas. It depends on nature of gas. So the E by m ratio depends on this nature of gas. Means if you change the nature of gas, for example, if you take hydrogen, it will get one type of E by m value. If you use helium instead of hydrogen, you will get another E by m value. Means continuously it changes. So if you change the gas, E by m value is also changes. Means E by m ratio depends on the nature of gas. But E by m ratio of the lightest gas, which is the lightest gas? Hydrogen. So E by m ratio of hydrogen, that is 9.54 into 10 to the power of 8 coulombs per 9.54 into 10 to the power of 7 coulombs per kilograms, or 9.54 into 10 to the power of 4 coulombs per grams. This is the specific charge of proton, means specific charge of hydrogen. So when you take the helium gas, the specific charge still decreases. Why? Because mass of the helium is increases, which means mass of the gas increases, specific charge is also decreases. Right. Next, this is about properties of proton and some important points. Next, let us discuss about discovery of neutron. Discovery of neutron. Discovery of neutron. So we already know discovery. Neutrons are discovered by discovery of neutron. So the neutrons are discovered by James Chadwick. neutrons are, these are discovered by James Chadwick. So here he used some nuclear reactions. He bombarded the beryllium with alpha particle. Here alpha particle is nothing but helium. Beryllium atomic number 4, mass number 9. Helium atomic number 2, mass number 4. When he bombarded, means when he collided the beryllium nucleus with helium nucleus, here they are going to produce one neutron N01 plus carbon nuclei, that is C612, means carbon atomic number 6, mass number is 12. So this is nothing but here neutron. So here he discovered the neutron in the year 1932. In the year 1932 he discovered the neutron by doing the nuclear reactions, which means by bombarding the alpha particle with the beryllium. So here neutron is a chargeless particle. Neutron is chargeless particle. Neutron is chargeless particle, and mass of neutron is, it is slightly heavier than the proton. Its mass is 1.675 into 10 power minus 27 kilograms, or 1.675 into 10 power minus 24 grams. So this is about neutron. And now let us summarize the properties of electron, proton, neutron. These are subatomic particles. So summary of subatomic particles. Summary of subatomic particles. That is properties. Property: electron, proton, and neutron. Electron, proton, and neutron. So here property. First discovered. Electrons are discovered by J.J. Thomson. Protons are discovered by Goldstein. Neutrons are discovered by James Chadwick. Next, name suggested by electron. The name electron was suggested by G.J. Stoney, and proton, the name proton is suggested by Rutherford, and the name neutron is suggested by the James Chadwick himself. Next, symbol. How we denote the electron symbol? E minus, proton P plus, neutron N01. Next, charge. So there, electrons are negatively charged particle, protons are positively charged particle. There is no charge, or simply we can say they are neutral. So they are neutral. Next, absolute charge. Absolute charge is equal to minus 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs, or minus 4.8. This minus sign is because they are having negative charge, into 10 to the power of minus 10 ESU, electrostatic unit. Proton charge is plus 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs, or plus 4.8 into 10 to the power of minus 10 ESU, electrostatic unit. And here it is 0 and 0. Why? Because there is no charge. Next, coming to the relative charge. Relative Relative charge means comparison. When you compare the charge of electron, charge of proton, charge of neutron, that is a comparison. Comparison is nothing but that is relative. So the relative charge of electron is -1, proton +1, neutron 0. Next, mass. Mass of electron we already know that is 9.11 into 10 to the power of -31 kilograms, or 9.11 into 10 to the power of -28 grams, or 0.0005 AMU atomic mass unit. And what is the mass of proton? That is 1.673 into 10 to the power of -27 kilograms, or 1.673 into 10 to the power of -24 grams, or 1.0076 AMU. And what is the mass of neutron? That is 1.675 into 10 to the power of -27 kg, or 1.675 into 10 to the power of -24 grams, or 1.0086 AMU. And mass of 1 mole, molar mass. Molar mass is nothing but mass of 1 mole substance. Mass of 1 mole of electron is simply that is 0.0055 grams. This is 1.0076 grams. This is neutron mass is in neutron molar mass is 1.0086 grams. Next, relative mass. Relative mass. What is the relative mass here? Relative mass of electron is 1/1837. Relative mass of proton is 1. Relative mass of neutron is 1. So here, lightest subatomic particle is electron, heaviest subatomic particle is neutron. But here, the approximately proton and neutron are having same mass. So these are about properties of subatomic particles, summary of properties of subatomic particles. Okay. So with this I am going to wind up this video, and in the next lecture I am going to discuss about atomic models. Okay. Thank you.